Hi everyone, welcome to the session on signals and system. Here we will solve the questions which have been asked in TRB 2017. The first question is a continuous time signal is sampled at a rate of 4096 samples per second. In the computation of a 4096 point DFT of the sampled signal, the number of frequency samples needed for FFT algorithm to be more efficient than direct computation. So what they ask is they have given some endpoint DFT values and they ask how much FFT is efficient for the given endpoint DFT. That is the question, right? So what they have given, let us see, the endpoint DFT n is equal to 4096 point DFT they have given. N is equal to 4096 and the sampling rate is again 4096, that I write as a m. So n is an endpoint DFT, m is a sampling rate of the signal, a continuous time signal. Now we have to compare DFT and FFT and how much FFT is efficient over DFT, that we have to find. So whenever we use it to compare DFT and FFT, we take both the complex multiplication and addition. Here we take complex multiplication for simplicity. So what is the thing we will have happen? So number of complex multiplication required for endpoint DFT is, for DFT we need n square complex multiplication, whereas for FFT we need n by 2 log n base 2 complex multiplication is required, where n is a sampling point. So n we obtained by n multiplied by n. Here one n is representing number of samples and another n is representing endpoint DFT. Here number of samples we represent by m for analysis purpose. So if m is a number of samples and we want to calculate endpoint DFT, total complex multiplication required is mn in DFT, whereas FFT is purely depending on sampling point n. So please remember why I choose n for m, because it is representing different sampling rate compared to the DFT calculation. So m is a 4096 and moreover it is a simple variable, n or m not a problem, but when you use n, when you compare left hand side and right hand side, the variable will be cancelled and we cannot find exact value. That's why I have taken different variable m, otherwise we don't have any issue. So how we have to prove the efficiency of FFT? We know that DFT takes more calculation than FFT. So mn must be greater than n by 2 log n base 2, right? So how much FFT is efficient, that I have to bring left hand side, otherwise we cancel first. So nn will cancel, so it will be m. So m is greater than 1 by 2 log n base 2. N is number of DFT sampling points, so it is 4096 base 2. So m is greater than 4096, nothing but log 4096 base 2 is 12. So 12 by 2 is 6. So here it implies FFT is 6 times requires 6 times less samples or 6 times more efficient. So what is the thing? So the option B is the correct answer. So because it needs 6 samples more, right? DFT calculation or direct calculation requires 6 samples more, or FFT needs 6 samples less. That's what the question is. Clear? Next one. A continuous time signal x of t is equal to 2 cos 100 pi t is sampled at a sampling rate of 75 Hz to generate a discrete time sequence x of n. The frequency of a sinusoid that yields sample identical to x of n is. See what they are given. They are given one continuous time signal and they are sampling that signal by 75 Hz and they get some discrete time signal x of n. So x of t they gave, and what they do some sampling and they get x of n, right? What they ask is, this is having some frequency. What they ask is, they ask some other sign. So let us assume if it is x1, they ask what is another signal x2 of t that is also giving the same x of n. This is the question, right? So now how we are going to solve this problem? But what is the thing? The answer they have given is not at all matching with the expected answer. I think we will get different answer. Let us see, right? So we know that in general, any signal x of t is equal to cos 2 pi ft, right? So if you sample this, what you get after sampling, it will become x of n. It is cos 2 pi f, t becomes nts, right? This is your continuous time signal and this is your discrete time signal after sampling with the sampling frequency of fs. Ts is sampling rate, Ts is equal to 1 by fs, we can substitute. So what we get is cos 2 pi f, right? Cos 2 pi t becomes nts, n ts is equal to 1 by fs. This is very simply I write. This is equal to cos 2 pi, right, f plus k fs divided by fs. Why? Because 2 pi f by fs and 2 pi k fs by fs, 2 pi k. So cos 2 pi fs plus 2 pi k is cos 2 pi fs only. So this is the, I am writing in different form. So left hand side is equal to right hand side 2 pi fn, right? So 2 pi fn. So this implies equate left and right, f is equal to f plus k fs, right? This is very important formula we have to remember. So what is the meaning? A signal with a frequency of some f will produce some discrete time signal, and a signal with some other frequency f is equal to f plus kfs is also produce the same discrete time signal. So in our example, what they gave is 2 cos 100 pi t. 2 cos 100 pi t is having a frequency of 50 hertz, right? So here they have given 50 and sampling rate they have given 75. So 50, the signal with the 50 hertz will produce some discrete time signal, means the signal with 50 plus k, initially let us assume 1 into fs 75 they have given 125. So a signal with 125 will also produce a same discrete time signal. Similarly, if you substitute k is equal to 2, it will become 50 plus 2 into 75, 200. So signal with frequency of 200 will also produce same discrete time signal. So what is the answer we can expect? We can expect the frequency of, what they ask is the frequency of the sinusoid that produces the same x of n. But what they have given is something 4 by 3, 1 by 2. So the answer should be f is equal to 125 hertz, right, or 200 hertz, like that. So here they didn't give anything, you can mark. Next one, given two finite duration sequence x1 of n and x2 of n that are 0 outside the interval 0 to 99. The sequences are circularly convolved to generate y of n is equal to x1 of n and x2 of n, where n is equal to 100. If x1 of n is non-zero for 10 to 39 for values of n, for which y of n is equal to x1 of star x2 of n. See, what they gave is, they have given two sequences x1 of n and x2 of n, both are having a length of 100, 0 to 99, totally 100. And they are doing a circular convolution between x1n and x2n. So we know that if x1 of n and x2 of n are having length of n, y of n is also having the same length, so that is also n. But what they ask is, for what value of n, small n, both linear convolution and circular convolution will have the same value, and one condition they are given, x1 of n is non-zero for 10 to 39. So this is what they have given. So what we have to do first, we have to write a circular convolution formula. Circular convolution formula is given by y1 of n is equal n goes k goes to 0 to 99. So x2 of k, x1 of n minus k capital N, right? So this is the circular convolution formula. Why I chosen x1 of n minus k instead of x2 of n minus k? Because the condition is 10 to 39. x1 of n is non-zero for 10 to 39 only, right? So if we shift that one instead of x, if we shift x1 or x2, we will get the same answer. But here I am shifting x1 of n minus k because we have constraint on x1 of n only, not x2 of n. So we keep x2 of n stationary and move x1 of n. So that's why I have put x2 of k, x1 of n minus k, not x1 of n and x2 of n minus k. So now we have to find for what value of n both linear convolution and circular convolution are same. Now we go to the problem. So x1 0 to 99, x1, x2 again 0 to 99. But condition is from 10 to 39 only x1 of n is non-zero, right? So now we will shift both linearly and circularly, because in a linear convolution also we are going to shift x1. So what will happen when you shift from this 39, they will go like this, but circular convolution will come back to 0 again after 99. That's why it is called circular convolution. But what linear convolution will do? Linear convolution will go up to infinity. So the shift is same or equal from 39 to 99 for both linear convolution and circular convolution. But beyond 99 and less than 39, the shift will be different for both linear convolution and circular convolution. So the answer will be same for when n varies from 39 to 99. For all other values, linear convolution and circular convolution will have different value. So the answer is, I think, option D. It is telling 39 to 99. So option D is a right answer. Clear? I hope you understand all the problems. Rest of the problems asked in 2017 we will see in next video. Thank you.